Hi, I'm Wiley Dumas. I am the twisted, messed up individual that creates KWTF News out of Moosedung, Connecticut. And this is a little special behind the scenes look at how it got started. But more importantly than that, it is a thank you to all of the YouTube viewers out there. We have now reached over 1,000 views on this channel. And I know to some people that doesn't seem like a lot, but for something that started out as a joke, that's pretty good, and I want to thank each and every one of you.
Can you tell us how you came up with the idea?
This whole thing got started back in October, near the end of October, right about a few days before Hurricane Sandy hit the area. The local news was coming on every 15 minutes or so with updates. And there's a tendency with some of the people up here on the local news to overreact to just about anything regarding weather up here, which is understandable in some circumstances. But with Sandy, it was still way down in the Bahamas. And it was like, oh my God, you need to run for the hills. You need to run for your lives. You know, this is the superstorm of the century. It is going to kill millions of people. That was what they were trying to impart on their viewers. You know, it was basically fear mongering, for lack of a better word. And I just got really frustrated with it. And so I took the camera and decided to go out and, try to report on some of the widespread panic going on around the area. And it was just, people were just going about their daily routine. There was, in honest truth, there was nothing happening. People were prepared, people were ready. I mean, you live here in New England, you get used to sucky weather. So, like many of the smaller local television stations, I was trying to, create this whole aura of something more important than what it actually was, exactly like what I'd been seeing on the news. And thus, KWTF News out of Moosedung, Connecticut was born.
Tell us a little bit about the characters and how they develop.
Oh, the characters. Well, the characters are a couple of interesting characters, for lack of a better word. I was a big fan of the Red Green Show when it was on the air. Steve Smith and some of his sketches with Harold and Red and all the gang out of Possum Lodge were just, it was hilarious. And I loved their way of doing sketch comedy. So if KWTF News makes you think of kind of an R rated Red Green show, then I've achieved what I set out to do. But the two main characters, well, the only two characters I have right now are Steve Zuckerman, KWTF News reporting. Steve is a very self centered, bigger than life, stereotypical news anchor for a small local television station. He has these delusions of grandeur. He's, in all honesty, he is a not really important fish in a small pond, but he believes, that he should be on national news somewhere as an anchor. Of course, that'll never happen. He's stuck in Moosedung, Connecticut, and that's pretty much going to be where he is the rest of his life. Uh, Zuckerman talks in one of these enunciating styles of voices that tries to put importance on whatever it is he's saying, even, if it has absolutely, even if there's no importance to it, Zuckerman's going to try his best to make whatever it is he's saying sound important. Then there's his colleague, the intrepid on the scene reporter, B.H. Bonghit Burkowski. Uh, Again, typical of so many small town on the scene reporters, the guy you send out to cover whatever is going on. And Burkowski is a total idiot. How he remembers to dress himself, at the beginning of each day is something of a miracle. but he's the guy you send out, to cover whatever is happening. He's filled in for Zuckerman as anchor a couple times and has absolutely bombed both times. He wants Zuckerman's job, but he just is no good at it. And so there's this, constant back and forth rivalry going on that we've tried to develop.
How did the characters develop?
Initially, the characters weren't really developed. It was only come about maybe the third episode that we saw Zuckerman speaking like this. But Murkowski's kind of been that constant, and he's like, he's in a situation and he's supposed to report on it, and he tries to find something to report on, no matter if it's, a car wash for the local band boosters or something like that. Murkowski's going to report on it and try to make it interesting. And that's his job. That's all he's good for.
Okay, now where did you get the idea for Moosedung? Moosedung, Connecticut.
Moosedung, Connecticut is a name I finally came up with after several episodes. It is typical of not just New England, but any small town anywhere in the United States. The people really only give a damn about news that's directly going to affect them, their neighbors, or their friends. Anything world and national related, they could care less about. They want to know what's going on in their town. And Moosedung is one of those. It's, just this little town isolated from all the rest of the problems in the country and the rest of the world. And it likes that and it wants to stay that way. We have reported on a couple of national and world news incidents, but they've been very tongue in cheek when we do so. We do try to report on the news that affects the residents of Moosedung.
Much longer are we going to see KWTF News?
It's just something I want to keep having fun with until either the viewers or YouTube tell us to stop. And once again, I just want to thank everyone out there for over 1,000 views now with something that I really had no idea if it was going to take off or not. And again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Please subscribe, comment, but more importantly than anything else, please just enjoy them and have fun with them the way they're meant to be. I'm Wiley Dumas, now returning you to the studios. Thank you.